Ahoy and welcome back once again to the channel. For those of you new here, my name's Gary, I like watches, and if you're here watching this, you probably like watches too, and I've got a very impressive piece to show you in today's video. It's by Clemence Watches, a watch brand set up by Tom, based in Scotland. These watches are not necessarily made in Britain, but they are assembled and tested in Britain. They're also designed in Britain. It looks like Tom does pretty much everything, and he has set up a very nice micro brand. The website is very impressive. The two watches that he's produced so far look very, very nice. And the watch that I'm going to be showing you in today's video is not a new release, but they're going to be restocking this watch very, very soon, and they're going to be adding some new color versions as well to their lineup. Tom has very kindly sent me a new color version to show you in this video. It's called Juniper. There are other new color versions which are going to be available very, very soon, so maybe head over to his Instagram and take a look. These watches will become available on his website on the 11th of March, so if you're interested, maybe head over to his website and sign up to his newsletter. I'm sure he will send you out a little notification saying if you want one, you better crack on and buy one now, because he doesn't produce his watches in very large numbers. And the first batch of watches seem to do pretty well. I had quite a lot of people actually reach out to me and tell me about this brand, tell me about this Munro field watch, and all the reviews seem to be very, very positive. And it was actually myself that reached out to Tom and said, look, I've heard lots of good things about your watches, I'd love to review one, and he has sent me this one to review. It was free, I don't need to return it. That's why you will have seen the includes paid promotion icon in the top left hand corner. There's no affiliate link, any links in the video description on this occasion, and just going to take you to his website. Now, before I run through some of the specifications, I want to highlight to you 5 things that I really like about this field watch. 5 things that you may not notice in the pictures and maybe not in other reviews. Now, one of the first things I noticed on this watch when I was unboxing it was the bracelet, and I know this has been something that pretty much everyone that's handled this watch has picked up on. The corners of the links have been really nicely rounded off and polished. That means in your hand it just feels super slick and smooth and soft. There's just no corners anywhere. Each link has this beautiful polished facet that sort of runs around the link, leaving a little brushed island on the side of the link. I wouldn't even say the corners have been rounded off. It's almost like there's an additional facet on the side of the links. And yeah, and that really does mean in your hand it just feels super slick, smooth, and on your wrist, yeah, very, very comfortable. The next thing is the crystal. It looks like it's going to be potentially a piece of double-domed sapphire crystal, but it isn't. It's a flat piece of crystal, but you do have this really nice curved edge on the outside of the crystal, a sort of top hat crystal. Super strong AR coating as well. I believe there's 8 layers of AR coating on the underside of the crystal. It's not that impresses me, it's just the fact that the crystal seems to be a little bit different. The fact that it's flat mostly means that the watch has remained 10mm thick. That's down to the movement, of course, the Miyota 9039. But yeah, I really like the piece of crystal. I just don't think it's your typical sort of domed crystal. The third thing is the applied indices. I've already taken all my shots. I've spent quite a bit of time with this watch already. I've zoomed in with my macro lens on, and yeah, under macro, this watch holds up. And those little rectangular applied indexes look super clean and crisp. The corners super tight. I'm not sure that's the right word, but yeah, sharp is probably the word I'm looking for. And there's a little brushed facet on the inner edge, and that brushing extends on the surface below that sort of facet. Hard to explain sometimes, but yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. And yeah, the loom has been filled into those applied indices, all of the applied indices, very, very nicely. Under macro, yeah, this watch looks incredible. And continuing with that macro theme, of course, I've continued to take pictures and footage of the rest of the watch. Under macro, I really do like to zoom into watches like this to see just how nicely they've been finished. And there is a polished facet on the case, which is very similar to the polished facet on the side or the edges of the bracelet links. It pretty much runs all the way around the case, top and bottom. And that's quite unusual. It's fairly normal to have have a polished facet on the corner running the sort of length of the case on top, but to have it almost wrap around the whole side of the case is, yeah, quite unusual, and it's been done very, very nicely. Very cool. And the last one is the bezel. I really do like solid stainless steel bezels like this. Again, a mix of brushing and polishing on that bezel. Circular brushing. On the inside, you've got a flat polished facet. That was a bit of a mouthful. And on the outer edge, on the corner, again, you've got another polished facet. And yeah, it's just a really cool effect. You've got the brushing in the middle, sandwiched between two polished facets. He's put a lot of thought into this watch, I think. And the specifications, I'm going to run through the rest of the specifications now. I think you will agree it's a pretty well specced out field watch. It looks good as well. And yeah, the new colours that he's creating look fantastic. I really like this colour. It's bright, it's playful. We're coming into summer now in the UK, so yeah, it's a very cool colour to have on your wrist during this time. Looks fantastic outside in the direct sunlight. Right, let me run through some more of the specifications. I've already mentioned the movement, Yota 9039, no ghost position on the crown, because that is a no date movement. Fantastic movement, 28,800 beats per hour. This one looks to have been regulated, running very, very nicely on my time grapher. 316L stainless steel, of course, screw down case back, screw down crown, 150 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, BGW9 loom. I'm going to be all over the place with these specifications, I think, because I've already given you quite a few already. The bracelet construction, as you would expect for a micro brand, very, very nice. Solid end links, solid links, screw pins. The clasp has the on-the-fly adjustment system, and I think that has been improved when compared to the on-the-fly adjustment system that was on the original, well, batch of these watches. And it works very nicely as well. Nice to have, of course. I think most watches have this these days, don't they? It's become the thing to include in almost all stainless steel watches. Double-ended quick-release spring bars as well. You've also got drilled lugs, so if you end up swapping the bracelet for a strap, you can, still continue to do more strap changes very, very quickly because of those drilled lugs. Nice case back as well. Some specifications on the case back. What have I missed? Nice packaging. Oh, there is a smaller link in the bracelet as well. So not only has Tom included an on-the-fly adjustment system in the clasp for extra super fine adjustments to make sure you can get this watch to fit absolutely perfectly, he's also included a sort of 2/3 link, which is almost going above and beyond. But we're not going to complain about it, are we? The loom is pretty good. I've already filmed some transition shots, and I've filmed the loom degrading over a 5-minute period, which I'll show you at the end of the video. Blue loom, BGW9, filled into those applied indices. Hands are pretty strong. The dial, the hands, those applied indices, very, very cool, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty impressed, I've got to say. I think Tom has created a very nice micro brand and, a very nice field watch as well. Now, what's this little beauty going to cost you? Well, on a strap, a crosshatch FKM rubber strap, it's going to be £499. And if you want it on this bracelet, it's going to be £575 British pounds. So it's not the cheapest micro brand field watch on a stainless steel bracelet, but I got to say the finishing is impeccable. It is a beautifully finished watch. It's clear Tom has put an awful lot into this watch. It's got to be one of the most refined micro brand watches I've ever seen. What do I mean by that? Well, it looks like Tom has repeatedly gone back to the drawing board to improve little bits here and there, and he's ended up with a very impressive piece. So yeah, I can totally and utterly see why so many of you guided me towards Tom and his watch brand and this particular watch, and I can totally and utterly see why pretty much everyone that has reviewed this watch has been very, very complimentary, and I'm very grateful that Tom was kind enough to send me one to share my thoughts and opinions in this video. And I have to say, yeah, well done, Tom. It's an impressive watch.